Hello everyone, Ultimate Rare here. Today I would like to discuss how Master Duel changes everything in our beloved game. For the first time, most OCG and TCG players are able to compete on a level playing field without having to attend the World Championship. Similar to Magic the Gathering's Arena, the entire player base follows the exact same ban list. Well, in Magic, we have several more formats. I'll leave that for another video. Smooth animations and with fellow content creators showing you how to get plenty of cards early. Jump on this while the gems are free and flowing heavily. With its own ban list, Master Duel is virtually its own version of the game. So we now have the OCG, TCG, and the virtual card game, aka VCG. You heard that term here first in January 2022. Currently, the VCG is one game and not multiple, something the TCG is used to. I admit, I prefer 2 out of 3 versus just one game and then you move on to the next opponent. This could change in the future, but it may not. Either way, Master Duel is a great way to introduce new players and of course old Yugi boomers such as myself back into the game. One can only wonder if Konami will update the VCG's list along with the OCGs or TCGs. Master Duel probably has its own team, meaning that ban list will update on a whim or on a completely different schedule. But now, I honestly believe merging the TCG and OCG would be extremely healthy for the game. The first benefit would be the World Tournament will actually mean something. Yes, having that title is an extremely amazing and difficult accomplishment. And I'm not trying to downplay anyone who has won that achievement. But the World Championship having its own ban list due to certain cards not being printed in Japan or in the TCG, and players not being able to practice means it has its own meta, and you really can't test your skills all the way for a weird meta. With Master Duel, Konami can get feedback immediately and know what problem cards are and deal with them a lot faster than normal. The VCG is only going to grow the game for the better and allow more players to try decks before buying them. So no more needing to blow your budget, finding out you don't like the card, and just getting rid of it. Or making paper proxies, printing proxies, or like we used to do back in the day, you used to take a silver Sharpie, flip up a bunch of comments that you had, and write the names of the cards you were planning on buying if it all worked out. I feel that the VCG could be a test for Konami to simply end the OCG and TCG split when it comes to ban lists, or even with products. For those who weren't alive, playing, or even knew about tournaments, the OCG was a secret for good players back in the early 2000s. In that era, knowing what cards were getting reprinted allowed you to make huge trade imbalances very easily if most of your local players had no clue. Remember, this was before social media dominated the internet. Most of my peers locally didn't know about Pojo's forums or didn't have a computer. Thus, they did not have access to that information. And trust me, as soon as I knew Mirror Force was getting reprinted, I traded it to some little kids for a whole bunch of other cards to expand my collection. Well, I was underage too, so I guess you could say I was just a little bit older than my peers. I love how players in less populated areas or those living there that lack a game store can now play test with their peers more often. Or those who have a weird schedule to work on and work several hours, no problem. You can simply log on and play someone from around the world. Master Duel just continues the trend that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a global game. I did wish Konami had did this years ago, but better late than never. Last but not least, let's just talk about the cost. For those who don't play Magic the Gathering, you'll definitely want to hear this. Arena isn't cheaper than the physical card game. Sounds silly, doesn't it? But it's true. Master Duel looks very similar to Arena, so also maybe Konami outsourced the development. So basically, now's the time to get in. If you're still on the fence, you're like, I'd rather play the physical card game. It's great to test with your buddies. I don't see any benefit of not at least trying it out. But when it comes to Arena, there have been articles where it costs more than a physical card game. I hope Konami doesn't go this route, because, you know, smaller kids who don't have access to their parents' money, unless, you know, they somehow download it to their device and get their parents' credit card, which, if you're a child, don't do that. Please don't do that. They're going to be priced out of the game. And, you know, I really don't want that to happen. So it's just, I just hope Konami does not do how Wizards did. So now subscribe, share, and like the video. And until next time.